mute it.
My ears are ringing.
Yeah, and me.
No. My mouse is not working. Oh, I'll just watch it. I want to put it on.
Oh, she's talking though.
I have to connect to Bluetooth and I can.
Is she talking? I have no.
We need our headphones.
See,
Oh,
Sarah.
there.
Is she talking?
I'm going to mute your microphone. You'll unmute you.
Hi everyone, we'll get started in just 1 minute. Okay, let's jump into this, and if people join us afterwards, they can catch up or feel free to ask any questions. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we all meet and pay my respects to elders past and present. Can everybody please put their microphones on mute if they haven't already? It'll just mean there's less feedback and it's easier for everybody to hear. Thank you all for coming today. I appreciate you giving up your lunchtime. My name's Eloise and I'm the Online Services and Practitioner Engagement Manager for the CAA's new Electronic Case Management System project. With me, I've got my colleague Lorena De Palma over my shoulder. Lorena and I manage the online services and the practitioner part of the project. So we're here today to explain how Court SA accounts work. We're running different sessions throughout the course of this week and next week. On Mondays and Wednesdays, we're covering Court SA generally and doing a demonstration of the system. Thursdays, we're doing a demonstration of what we're calling the Help Centre. And Fridays is a general Q&A. If you're interested in any of those topics, I strongly encourage you to register for them. If you have any questions as we go through today, can you please answer them in the chat function? It just means that we're not talking over each other and everybody can be heard. Unfortunately, I'm not able to answer any rules-related questions, but if you do have a rules-related question, please send it to the Ethics and Practice Department at the Law Society, and they will be able to help you out. If you haven't already done so, I also strongly encourage everybody to have a go at the Court SA practice site. A link was sent out last week, and it's a place where you can go and have a practice at lodging cases using Court SA and become familiar with how it works. None of it's real, so nothing you do on there will count and nothing will get lodged to any case. All the data in there gets deleted every 2 weeks. Unfortunately, that also means your account will get deleted, but it's not a problem to set one up. And
Press mute.
oh, hang on, I'll just mute there. Sorry, just if everybody could please mute their microphones, that would be much appreciated. There we go. All right. Okay, so by all means, please have a play with that practice site. And if you have any questions, either give us a call, send us an email, and we can work through them with you. Today, we're going to focus on accounts. If you already have a Court SA account because you might be practicing in probate, you may have some slightly different questions, and please feel free to send them through. I'll try and cover off on them as I go. We may also have some members of the bar with us today, and if you have any special questions, please just let us know. I'll try and cover everything, but there's a lot to get through. So I'll begin by saying I hope everybody can see my screen. What I have in front of me are two separate Court SA accounts. One belongs to Sally Taylor, and Sally is my account administrator. And one belongs to Amy Smith, and Amy is my law firm user. I also have a third account, which I'll bring up a bit shortly, which is Tom Jones, and Tom is also a law firm user. I'm just working through these today so that you can see the difference between the different types of accounts, who can see and do what. You'll notice that the first thing that's apparent between these two different cases, and if these aren't big enough, please let me know, I'll just enlarge them slightly, is that in this black navigation at the top, Sally, our account admin, has an option called My Firm, whereas this isn't an option in Amy's. And this is where Sally can administer and perform actions on her firm. I'll take you to Sally's option within My Firm. Now, before I go in here, I just want to say that we can currently see everybody who's registered for a Court SA account. When the system goes live, we hope that this issue will be fixed and a law firm administrator will only be able to see the people within their firm. So this is just a bug that we're working on at the moment. From here, Sally, our account administrator, can invite people to her firm account, and she can also remove them. If you see, this is my law firm that I have, and within my law firm, there's a few people. If I would like to change the details of anybody in my law firm, it's very easy. I just click the name, I'll just click edit next to the name, and I'm able to change their password, their personal information, but I'm also able to cancel their account. I wouldn't recommend cancelling somebody's account if they leave your firm. For example, we'll say that this particular person, Tom Jones, wants to leave or has gone to another firm. All you need to do is click next to their name, and then you can lock that particular person. Then they won't be able to access any of your firm's cases. If I would like to add somebody else to my law firm because they may have joined, it's very simple. I just enter the email address associated with their P code if they have one, or if they don't have a P code, just the email for my firm. I'll show you an example. Now, the reason why you need to provide the P code email address if they have one is because any requests for case access will be sent to the email associated with the responsible solicitor's P code. And as a form of validation, the email address that it's sent to needs to match the email address that their account has been created with. If they don't, they won't be able to access the case. Just fill in the details of the person along with a temporary password, select who they are, and then send them an email. Fill in their details, and then they will receive an email with a link to come and access their Court SA account. And their account will look exactly like Amy's does over here. We go back to My Firm. We also have the ability to remove and add case access as an account administrator. I'll go into this in a little bit more detail later, but I just want you to know that as an account administrator, everything you do on your firm will be done from this button up here. show you now the difference between what's visible on the two different accounts. Over here in Sally's account, she has an extra tab that Amy doesn't have. Sally has this tab here called My Organisation Cases. Sally is able to see every case that somebody in her organisation has access to, whereas Amy is only able to see the cases that she has access to. The first tab that you'll come to is My Existing Cases, and for both of these people, these are the cases that they have access to. If you'd like to change the way that any of this looks, you're able to sort up or down for each of the fields. And you're also able to search for a case. If we go to My Organisation Cases, we can see that Sally has not just the cases that Amy has access to, but she also has additional ones. So these are ones that we'll go through shortly, the other people in her firm, such as Tom Jones, have access to. But this is an aggregated view of all of the cases in the firm. If we go to My Unsubmitted Drafts, we're able to see that Amy, as a user, can only see the drafts for the cases that she has saved. Sally, on the other hand, is able to see all of the drafts for her organisation. I'm going to show you Tom's account now so that you can see what might happen if you've got multiple people within your organisation. So again, over here we've got Amy, and Amy has saved these 3 particular cases in draft, so she can see them. Tom can't see them, and Amy can't see any of the cases that Tom has in draft, but Sally can see both of them. So Sally can see everything, and your individual users can only see their own drafts. The same applies to the cart. For those of you who are familiar with online shopping, before you pay for something, you'll add it to your cart. The same goes for lodgements. Any lodgements for which there's a fee attached will get put into your cart before you pay for them. In this example, Amy has 3 items in her cart but can only see hers. Sally can see Amy's 4708, 4734 and 4867. She can also see the ones for everybody else in the firm. So she can see hers and she can see Tom's. We go to payments now. Payments works a little bit differently. Amy can see the payments for all of the cases that she has paid for. And at this point, Sally can only see the cases that she's paid for as well. So Sally doesn't have a firm view of payments. Each person can only see their own payments. So just be aware of that. If you would like to view a receipt, it's very simple. You can just click on the name of the case, and it will download. There we go. And we can now see this invoice, which is associated with this particular case. If I would like, I'm able to download and save this, and I can send it to somebody else if they would like a record of it. Generally speaking, they are the differences in who can see and do what. Our law firm administrator, Sally, has visibility over everything within the firm apart from payments. And each of our individual users, Amy and Tom, can only see their lodgements and payments. Now, I'm going to go to a case and demonstrate the notification process. So I'll begin by lodging a case. One of the questions that we get quite frequently is, can somebody else do the data entry for me? And the answer is yes, they can. So we have Sally over here, our account administrator. She's able to do the data entry for somebody else in her firm if she would like. So she can do the data entry for a case for Amy, if Amy's settled it all and has given it to her. She's then just able to lodge it on Amy's behalf. So when she's asked, are you the lawyer? She can select yes and enter Amy's P code. In this instance, Amy's P code is my P code, so I'll put that in. And she can just pick the P code of the responsible solicitor on the case. What this means is that the case is going to show up in Sally's account because Sally has lodged it, but the notifications are going to go to Amy's P code address because Amy is the responsible solicitor on the case. I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit confusing. Once the case has been lodged, because somebody in the organisation has access to it, in this case Sally, Sally's able to give Amy access to it. I'll walk through that a little bit now. So if we go back to somebody's cases, Sally is able to give access to somebody in the organisation, provided that somebody else has access to that case. So if you're initiating a case or taking over conduct, you will need to request access through the courts. But if it's a case that is already within your law firm, then your account administrator can grant access to anybody else. All they need to do is type the person's name. So in this case, it's Amy. And I can see that Amy Smith is a user. And these are the particular cases that she has access to. I am able to grant access to another case if I would like. All I need to do is select the particular case and add it. So Amy now has access to this Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort case. If I refresh Amy's screen, it will now appear in her list of cases. So to find it, I'll just and you can see now Amy has access to case 000489 Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort. If I open this case, you'll see that Amy can now do anything on the case. She's not the responsible solicitor, so she will not receive notifications. The notifications will continue to be sent to the responsible solicitor. But she can do anything that that responsible solicitor can do. All of the lodgements will be recorded as being done on behalf of the responsible solicitor. If Amy leaves my firm and I don't want her to access the cases, or perhaps there's a Chinese walls process, it's very easy to remove access to a particular case. Just click next to it and then update to delete the case associations. And now we've removed Harry Potter. I refresh this. See that there are no Harry Potter cases available in Amy's cases. How are we going so far? Is everybody following? Okay, no questions so far? Terrific. What we're also able to see is requesting access. Now, I'll show this. One of the things that you may need to do is request access to a case. Again, as I said, this may be if you're taking over conduct or you're acting as a respondent and you need access to the case. What you will need to do is select request access to a case. The instructions will tell you everything you need, and then you can proceed to the form. There are, I might just make this a bit smaller, sorry, it's a bit hard to see. you just need to identify what jurisdiction you're requesting access to. And you'll notice that there are 4 different types of case access that you can make. There's a self-represented litigant. There is a solicitor acting for somebody. Someone is also able to request access if they are represented. So your clients may request access to a case that you are acting on. And there's also the option for a barrister to request access. If you have briefed a barrister or you are a barrister, we would prefer if you would request access to the case this way. Please don't add any barristers to your law firm in the way that we did earlier. Barristers should really sit independently of a law firm organisation. The reason for that is, as I mentioned, somebody's P-code email address can only be used once, and if you use it to invite a barrister to your firm, they won't be able to access any other cases. So please just stand to the side. If you are a barrister or your client is accessing the case, they will be able to access it, but they won't be able to do anything on it. They will effectively have a read-only view. So you are able to let your, when you've briefed counsel, let them know that they can request access, and then they'll be able to see the case. And the same way for your clients if you would choose. We'll say for today's purpose that I'm a practitioner. And again, we can do this on behalf of other people. So we can have, as always, Sally lodging this on behalf of Amy. So Amy is acting for a respondent and she's asked Sally to get her access to the case. Sally just fills this in on behalf of Amy and provides her P code. So again, Amy's P code is my P code. What will happen is once this form is lodged, a notice of acting will be generated. So you no longer have to do a notice of acting and lodge it with the court. As a byproduct of requesting case access, one will be generated for you. What it will do is identify this particular P code and practitioner as the responsible solicitor. All notifications on the case will now be sent to this email address, and the request for case access will be sent to this email address. It won't be sent to Sally, even though Sally is lodging it on Amy's behalf. As I mentioned earlier, it's critical that this P-code email address that ends up on the notice of acting is the same email address as your Court SA account, because if the 2 don't match, you'll get an error message when you try to click your case access link. If you need to update your P-code email address, please ask the Law Society. They have those details and then they send us a feed. You'll then just need to identify who you're acting for. You can fill in their details. And if you're acting for more than one party, you're able to provide their details. And when you're ready, just press proceed. Then the email at that point, it will then get reviewed by Court Registry. So it is a manual process, these reviews, so there may be some time delay. So I just encourage you, if you do need case access expeditiously or urgently, please fill in this request and then contact Court Services and let them know. Once your request for case access has been granted, the email address, so the notification and the access will be sent to this email address, and then that person will be able to access the case. The account administrator, in this case Sally, will see the case because somebody in her firm has access to it. She can then grant access to anybody else in the firm as well if you would like more than one person to have access. If somebody leaves, say Amy goes to another firm or goes on holidays, and you would like those notifications to be sent to someone else, there's 2 options. You can set up internal email rules, or you can do a second request for case access. and have somebody else in the firm take over conduct of the case and become the responsible solicitor. So the only thing that will change the responsible solicitor in the eyes of the court is filing a notice of acting by way of requesting case access. I think there's big ticket items that we've been getting lots of questions on. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. I might just talk about this through the context of probate now. If you have a probate account or you have been lodging in probate, you'll be aware that we asked everybody to please use one account. So everybody in my law firm should be lodging their probate accounts using Sally's account. The reason for that was because when probate launched, we didn't have the ability for Sally, the account administrator, to grant access to individual people within the firm. So there would be no way for more than one person to be acting on a case or do anything on that case. That's all changed. So as of Monday, probate people, please use this new account structure, and your account administrator can just grant individual case access to any probate cases that your practitioners or anybody else are working on. I will also say that as part of the data migration over this weekend, if you have requested any cases in advance, they will hopefully be ready and waiting for you on Monday morning. Those who have requested a list of cases and sent it back reviewed, we've passed that information on to our development team, and they are working on making sure that when those cases are migrated over from the current courts management system to Court SA, they will be flagged as your firm's cases. If you haven't done that and you would like access to cases after Court SA launches, you will just need to do the manual case access request process that we just went through. Any questions? No? All right, well, I won't keep everybody any longer than we need to. If you think of any questions, please don't hesitate to phone or email. Lorena and I are here to help. We're also having, as I said earlier, a session on tomorrow to do a demonstration if you haven't already seen one. And on Thursday, we'll cover the Help Centre, and Friday we'll do a Q&A. If you have registered for Friday, just be aware we're not presenting anything specific. We're just going to be answering questions that are asked of us. So please come prepared, or alternatively listen to the other questions that are asked. So I've just been asked one question. Is it possible to have one email address, i.e. a generic one, attached to more than one person's L code? No. No, because the email address can only be used once in Court SA. So if you had 3 practitioners with a generic e-code email address, they couldn't have individual accounts. So if you would like to do that, you can, but they will only be able to have one account amongst themselves. We've also had another question. Can you no longer file in person once this goes live? You will continue to be able to lodge in person over the counter. The date for mandating the use of Court SA is still being reviewed. It was the 1st of July, but now that the project's been delayed, that's being reviewed. So there will be a grace period of 2 to 3 months, we're thinking, after which point you will need to lodge using Court SA where possible. There's some things that you can't do using Court SA. Those things are covered on the Help Centre. There's a list of them, and they will need to be continued to be lodged over the counter. All right. Okay. We've got a question. Can a finance manager have access to all case payments? No. Only each individual person can see their payments. So if we go back to my cases, it's the anomaly of the system. So our account administrator can't see the payments for everybody else in the firm. They can only see their payments, and the individual users can also only see their payments. We've been asked, will any notes be available on these sessions? No formal notes will be available. All of the content that we're covering is available in the Help Centre. So I strongly encourage everybody to go and have a look at the practice site. The Help Centre has all of that information now. The reason that it's not on the real Court SA site yet is that it will be migrated over the weekend when all of the case data gets pulled over. From Monday, you'll be able to access the Help Centre on the real Court SA. Right. Well, if that's about it, I won't hold anybody up. I'll say thank you all for coming today. We look forward to hearing from you if you have any other questions. And if there's anything at all that Lorena and I can do to help, please let us know. And we look forward to seeing everybody later in the week. Best of luck. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.